Collective, and
Collin here.
And we are ready to bring you back with the Bad Batch.
Oh yeah,
Season 3,
the finale.
Yeah, the final season. Really excited about this. I mean, Bad Batch has been a lot of fun.
Yep,
it's been a lot of fun watching it the past 2 seasons. It's actually been a really great, like, kind of pandemic-y kind of like show.
Yeah, it started during the pandemic and has got us through it since. Yeah.
So that's been like a lot of fun. Of like it's always been a nice little like glimmer of light.
It's a great show with a kid in it, and I wasn't super annoyed with the kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
which is a definite plus in a show.
Absolutely.
Like Omega's definitely was awesome.
Omega's the best. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into episode 1, Confined, season 3 of Bad Batch.
So now for the beginning of the end of the Bad Batch, as we catch up with Omega, who was like taken by the Empire in season 2, or
at the end of
finale,
season 2,
and by Dr. Hemlock and the Empire,
Nellis goes with them, and like Hunter, because like she's on the ship. Hunter and Wrecker and stuff are trying to like run up there, and they just miss as the ship is being taken off.
And if you guys forget who Dr. Hemlock is before we start, it's the guy played by Jimmy Simpson from Always Sunny in Westworld and stuff. And he's just so good, man. Mm-hmm. His like quiet, cool demeanor is just very menacing, because when he does like raise his voice, eventually like it hits. And he's the Imperial scientist who's been working on this secret clone project, basically. And at Mount Tantus, which is like a cool
Imperial base in a mountain.
Yeah, exactly. And it was an heir to the Empire, which is like a legacy thing now too. So it's like things that are like brought back from those
things that were
stories that were already told,
that were decanonized though, are now being reintroduced into canon. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, one of the greatest things brought in from the Legend stuff was Thrawn. Yeah, like by far,
absolutely. We also get the ship land, like trying to land, asking for permission to land, basically, and they're clearing it, and all of a sudden Hemlock clears it to land. They're waiting for it and stuff, but it got hit by a bolt of lightning.
Yeah, because it's a storm.
Yeah, and while it was going through the atmosphere, it got hit with a bolt of lightning. It crashes. The team seems to survive, but Hemlock's like,
no. They're outside of the perimeter fence. Yeah. Turns off the comms, but as he's turning off the comms, you actually hear the "oh no!" like a bestial like creature coming at him.
Just to let you, the audience, know, us know that they're surrounded by some crazy stuff out there.
It had some very shooter vibes from the first Jurassic Park.
Oh right.
Yeah,
definitely.
And it like at the end, like you heard the screaming and all that. But then we get Omega.
Oh yeah.
And she's just looking out at the world, like through her.
And we see like there's some marks, like she's been there at least 2 weeks, like 3 weeks maybe. You know what I mean? Already, and Dr. Amari Carr too comes. Yeah. And that's her sister. That's her clone sister, basically. Yep. And
again, if you don't remember that from season 2, that was a big thing. That was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Because Omega was having a hard time with like trusting her at all, and then she's like, well, I'm just like you, basically. No, I am you, like basically. And she's been watching. So we see like this routine that's gonna start. Yep. Like she's gonna take her to work like every day, and she's gonna watch over Omega, but like she's kind of a stern parent also. She's definitely like she's a prison guard, basically. And literally so she's gonna take her through the day where she is going through the hallway, though she sees Crosshair. Yeah, Crosshair. Really cool.
Yeah, that's really great. Seeing like their ships passing in the night, basically. Yep. But like Omega absolutely notices. Crosshair just has his head down and like is in his own little like world. Yeah.
He's not looking for her, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And they make their way to the lab, and they start their daily routine of the labs. Then, after that, you get the like blood draw from like Emery and everything like that.
Yeah, she draws blood from like a clone trooper. and it just looks like these troopers are going through hell. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, and it's like, and it's one of those things that we know that they have the aging process and stuff of like everything. So like some of these clones are like just like aging out of it and like degrading and dying, you know, basically overall, you know, like everybody does on a long enough timeline. And
it seems like around them though they're dying a little faster, you know
what I mean? Right. So what else is happening
advantage
here?
Yeah.
And like they're taking blood draws and stuff, and you see it into basically what becomes like the ticker of the whole
which is amazing,
like the whole blood draw stuff.
But anyway, so Omega's like got to be convinced kind of to give her blood. She's like, why would I do that?
She's like, why do you need it? And it's like, I like we all do. Everyone serves a purpose here, you know, like
you're no different.
You know, you're no different. And Omega starts asking about like her brothers, you know, the Bad Batch, being like, where are my brothers at? And you know, Emery's like, I don't know where they are. Like, you know, I have no idea where they are. Like, I'm not like privy to that.
Right, and then they also get into like after she kind of convinces her to just go along with it. And Kar kind of Amari kind of explains that how she was taken under Dr. Hemlock's wing. And like in comparison, like how Omega was taken under Nala Se's wing. And it was a really interesting comparison because one is kind of light side, one's kind of dark side, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like the almost opposite type of environments. So but they were both taken under people's wings and then kept in confinement basically.
Confinement for, you know, X amount of time, and like this is now the second time Omega's been going through this.
Gotta be annoying.
Like,
she just gets a family, she just gets free. And like after Kar collects the sample though, she like she sends Omega
off to Nala Se to start testing them. And this is the first time that we see, you know, Nala Se like start testing some of them. But gets to Omega's
machine that becomes like a clock. That keeps popping up throughout these episodes. That is like just a good little reminder of the time that's passing. And for Omega specifically, because we do see Nala ask Omega, "Did they get your blood?" And she says, "Yeah." And she takes that vial and
has it
tosses it
and discards it.
So she gets rid of Omega's sample basically and just tests all the other stuff. Because she knows something, I think. She knows something that we don't
up
know.
here. I mean, like. Everything about that is fishy, but like we do know though that that Nala Se does like care for Omega and wants the best for Omega to like.
Which you knew from the last season because she was taken because they had Omega and they knew that she was they were what they were gonna do if she didn't go along with it. Otherwise, she was just gonna die in her cell. Doesn't care. She's using this as a little bit of leverage for now to give Omega some time.
Because something's up there with Omega and why Nala Se doesn't want Omega's blood to be tested. And then Nala Se just is like, Omega, go finish off the rest of your tasks. Like you're done here. Then we get to meet the Lurka Hounds.
Right, which is cool. That's like her that's like her side thing that she likes to do. She goes into where these Lurka Hounds are, and she has one specific one that she loves, and it's she named it Batchy, after her guys, her Batcher,
which is awesome. Like Batcher, Bad Batch, like it's so great. It's so great. And you know, so she feeds the other ones, and like clearly there's like a relationship with Batcher there. She gives Batcher like some of her own food or whatever, and then she meets, like goes to just like visit Crosshairs. Which is something like I've just got to say, like that's insane to me. Seeing that like she's confined to her room and stuff. She's got her own test, but like. Just able, like she just strolls.
Well, okay, no. So that's the deal. Nalase made the deal with Hemlock that she's not going to be a prisoner, even though she does like kind of live in a cell. Like she does have free time. She's able to go to the where the Lurka Hounds are.
Yeah.
She's able to kind of like have a little freedom and go to work every day. Like, but at the end of the day, is that freedom or is that just doing what they need you to do with the illusion of freedom? But she does have enough freedom to be able to walk around and get away from some of the guards. You know, she's gonna learn that over time because she is Omega.
Yeah, she's Omega.
But one thing we forgot to mention was that Nalase mentioned that they are looking for a certain like M count.
Oh yeah,
and that's like the thing
a transferable M count in their like clone process and stuff.
Which is like, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the cloning thing is like always been very interesting to me, especially with the Emperor. So I'd love to get some more answers.
Right. Like absolutely.
Yeah.
But this is, man, this whole thing is just
so anyway, the Crosshair and
visit
Omega visit is cool because it really does kind of line up with Batcher and hers relationship. Like those two relationships are very similar. Like both are stubborn. Both like won't like just take the help sometimes that they need, and like but Omega won't give up on him. Yeah. And I love that throughout this episode.
And both
Omega
both have a little bit of a bite to him.
Yeah, and she does not lose hope.
Yeah, despite that. And
like even when he says like leave me, it's kind of like
she's like I'm gonna escape, but I'm taking you with me. Like you're coming with me. Like
but his reasoning I think is like very interesting because it doesn't seem like it's like he's saying he's a bad guy and all this stuff, but it's more like I'm gonna be a burden.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna help. You know, I can't even shoot really anymore. Like I don't know what's going on right now, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do anything. So just I'm the worst. You might as well leave me.
Yeah, just leave me. I'll be fine.
Just leave me. I'll be fine. You get out of here.
Yeah,
Stop. Yeah. You know.
You get out of here, and it'll be fine.
So yeah, she refuses. She's like, I'm out of here.
No,
she's like, we're getting out of here.
Yeah, she's like, Emery will help us.
No clone should be in here.
And like, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna break out, and don't you worry. And Crosshair's just like, you just trust way too easily.
Right.
Like,
so this is when we get another like cut scene, kind of, and it's like, it's interesting because this time the demarcations, it's like at least a few, like 6 months, 5 to 6 months maybe.
Yeah.
And it seems like I'd guess about a half year.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Her hair's even longer, and she seems. It's what's cool here is she starts to resemble her sister more with the longer hair.
Yeah.
But it is like an interesting thing because like she goes through. It's just like she's still going through the motions type of moment.
Yeah, she still has that like routine here and everything. She's still seeing Nalase disposing her her blood, but we do see her with her little like wicker doll.
Which we forgot to mention before. She stole like some stuff to make it basically, and she made it like a doll and
to resemble her old bunny from the ship that's on the Bad Batch ship.
Yeah, so she had that, and she's hiding that away basically in her little suitcase thing that she carries around. Anyway, yeah, she's keeping some innocence. That's it reminds us that she's a kid.
Yeah.
It reminds us that like she's going through all this crazy stuff, but like she's a kid. Like
it's insane. Like there's a lot of interesting like similarities of like just traumas and like crazy things going through that like Omega and Boba have gone through.
Yeah. But
like,
her going the complete opposite way.
Yeah. Again, like Boba tiding that like not necessarily dark side, but he's not light. He's not dark side, but he for sure ain't the light side. Of things.
Omega and the Alpha are both parts of God, right? Not necessarily the whatever. Yeah, so it's like one part of a.
Yeah.
So he's not necessarily evil though. But he's definitely they're both lawful.
Yeah.
In their own way.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, they definitely all. Yeah. He has his own like laws and whatnot. The way that he goes.
Yep.
But then, so we see her back with Nalase still disposing the blood, And then she goes back to the Lurka Hounds and is feeding them again. And this is where we see Badger has like a huge gash on like her paw, her arm there, and like she's like Omega's like not necessarily hysterical, but is like, hey droid, we need to do something here.
She runs up to the droid and is like, we gotta fix him. He's like, no,
I'm not a medical droid. I'm not programmed to do this.
The only thing I can do is exterminate it when it's too late. Because that's all I'm here for.
Yeah, that's all I'm here for. The K is for killing.
Exactly.
The K is for killing here.
So, so she's just beside herself. So she finds something.
She gets the medical kit that's on the wall and starts cleaning the wound and everything.
She treats him, Badger, or her, Badger herself. And, again, she uses this after this to sneak over to Crosshair.
Yep.
After she treats him and stuff. She sneaks over to Crosshair, who, like, she's telling the story, and he's like, stop wasting your time.
What's the objective here?
Yeah,
Like, what's your objective here?
Like us losers, like us, like broken things you keep wasting your time on, you know?
Yeah.
And she just will not give up, and it shows her determination, her you know, her resolve, basically.
Yeah. And like Omega won't give in and cry, but I love like Crosshair. He's still just as stubborn. He won't give in either. He's like, don't risk anything for me.
Right.
He's like, I am where I belong.
Since we've seen him like kind of be selfless in the sense when he had to like put himself on the line for Omega last season, like that's a question I wanted to talk to you about. Did he turn evil? Or was he more of like a Winter Soldier? Because I'm going with the Winter Soldier technically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he's definitely more redeemable, even though he's done some horrible stuff.
Yeah.
Than just any regular character.
Yeah. That's an interesting question about the like Winter Soldier aspect. I don't disagree with it. It's actually probably a good parallel if we're being honest for him. I don't really, I never really like kind of thought about it like that, but yeah, I would agree with that.
Right, because it's like, but it's worn off and it's like kind of not. Yeah. It's not a lot. He's been abandoned twice basically now. By 99 and the Empire. Yeah. So he's just really like, you know what? I'm of no use to anyone in this world. Like he's really despondent, and it shows. And he just wants, but he still shows. In that he cares for Omega's safety. Yeah. He's thinking about her safety, not his. Because maybe a previous version of Crosshair would have used this as an opportunity to use her to escape. Yeah.
And he's just like, no, I'm where I belong. And I love Omega.
You seem to be actually putting your life on the line for me.
Right. And I love Omega's response, though, is none of us belong here.
Exactly.
It's so good.
Which, like, proves her resolve in that no clone should be going through this just because this, that, or the other, you know?
Exactly. Then we get a transition to the next day and surprise inspection. Yep. And Omega's like, what's going on? And like Emery's like, calm down. They're standard. Everybody goes through them.
And then she's freaking out because she's got her little doll. So
she's like, got her little wicker doll behind her.
The trooper ends up finding it. And Cars just basically takes her out of her room, like, and is like, let's go. Like, you can't have this.
You know, we've talked about this. You can't have personal items
no
here.
No sentimental stuff going on here.
Right.
We do not care about sentiment in the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not allowed to have personal items. Like, let's move on. Like, let's go get you to work.
Right. We get
during this time, we also get Nalase talking to Hemlock.
Yeah, the successful transfer.
Yeah.
But the lowered M count is what they're talking about.
Right,
here.
And he's like, "Oh, really? Successful? Cool. No, I'm not. This isn't going well. Yeah. If you don't figure this out, things with Omega are going to go different.
We've got to keep the same M count or more. We can't lose the M count from the original specimen.
Right. Nalase is trying to buy time basically, and it's running out.
Yeah.
At this moment, and Nalase is really starting to feel it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then we get the moment with basically that the Emperor is not as patient as I am, like, which is really solidifies the fact that we don't have time to like sit around and not escape.
Yeah.
Things are about to go down.
Yeah.
So
things are happening here.
Yeah. Yeah. So then she decides to go down and free her pet though. At this moment. Yeah. She decides to Omega's like taking her stance.
Yeah. Omega's like, it's time to leave now.
Yeah.
And I need to get my puppy. Because why not? Of course you get your puppy.
They're taking everything from me already, and anything I try to make for myself, they still take from me. Like, I'm never going to live a happy life under this. I need to get out of here. And I'm going to go ahead and give that to Badger.
And Badger, so she goes down to get ready to release Badger, and she fights the K-Droid.
Yep.
Destroys the K-Droid.
Yeah, her training has been going very well.
Yeah, right? And so she destroys the K-Droid. Badger gets out, and then because Badger was slated for termination. So all this happens because Badger is slated for termination, and they said that Badger became domesticated via Omega here. And
because she was feeding him or her food, and Omega was giving her food off her plate and like really treating her like a pet. Yeah, and to them that wasn't good. They want their beasts to be beastly
and like feral.
Yeah, so it was a liability for them because they used them to protect their grounds from like other stuff.
Yeah, for any beasts that get through that perimeter fence,
no good.
They send out the Lurka Hounds then.
Which they will remind you the Lurka Hounds aren't the strongest thing on this planet.
So Badger gets out, Badger gets out.
And she like pretty much immediately gets caught.
Yeah.
Like letting them out by Emery and Dr. Hemlock.
Yep. And so she's like, you won't hurt me or anything, like, or and Nala Say won't like work for you if you do that, if you do anything to me. And Hemlock's like, yeah, that's great. All of that is true. You forgot about your boy in the cell.
The one that you keep going to see? I've been watching. Who do you think you are?
The one that you keep going to hang out with? Yeah. I know who he is.
Like, just again, going back to that point about, like, her freedom. Yeah. Like, she's not really, like, they're still watching her at the end of the day. But, like, it's very interesting scene because, Dr. Hemlock uses this to kind of get a little more agitated than normal. Yeah. And he tells her that she's cruel for letting this creature go. Because now this creature is going to go out and get killed by a beast that isn't domesticated, you know? Yeah. A beast that hasn't been turned into a pet by a little girl, you know what I mean? Like that type of energy. He's really like mocking her at a certain point. And
he's awful.
Yeah, he's just really kind of the worst, and he's a good villain though, man. I hope they don't just kill him off. I hope they like. Yeah, I hope do something with him.
I hope there's some life to him here. Yeah, because a little bit, and but so she gets, like Hemlock's like every action has consequences. Omega ends up back in her room.
Yeah, Carr interjects. We like need to get her out of here. Like, gets her back to the cell.
And Emery, Carr hands her back her wicker doll. Yep. Showing again that like Emery, has a little bit of a heart. Yep. A little bit.
No, there's definitely some good in her.
Yeah. Yeah.
We see some good in her.
Absolutely. And then we hear Badger's howl out there. And
which is awesome.
And Omega looking out to it, and then we get the shot of Badger on the mountain, and then we get the cut to credits. And Star Wars is back, baby!
Yeah, because Hope.
Back!
Hope is back. She has hope. Even though she's in a cell, she's looking out at a creature she knew she freed, and now knows it's possible. Yeah. And this is all great. I loved it. Episode 1 was so sweet. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up episode 1 here, and we're gonna dive right into episode 2. Yeah, because they released 3 at a time.
Yeah. Hey everybody, Jimmy with the Triple C Collective, and
Collin here,
and we are ready to bring you Bad Batch Season 3, Episode 2, Paths Unknown.
Yeah. So this one's a little different than it strays off the path of the first one.
Yep.
Unlike the first maybe two seasons, we got like the first two episodes were super interlinked, where they kind of came out and they were like almost a movie.
Yeah.
Whereas this season they kind of gave us 3 episodes.
Yep.
Whereas the middle episode is a distraction away from the other story that needs to be dealt with. It's interesting, and I love this episode. In the sense that it's really cool lore that we're getting here, and like deeper dives into like the clone lives and stuff like that we'll get into. But yeah.
So yeah, it starts out with a meeting of Issa Duran and dude, one of the the Bad Batch.
Right.
Like we get a one
so
of
we're
the
in like this temple, and they're having like a
court session,
and Lady Durand is like the leader of the syndicate, and this
crime syndicate.
Yeah, this crime syndicate, and this man's trying to like get this guy's coming to like basically plead his case in front of her.
Yeah, and like, but he's being accused of like treason and trying to like overthrow her.
Yeah, basically going, you went against the family.
Yeah. We get a lot of that.
He got that. And then you also get like, you know, that scene in Game of Thrones when the one lady throws the people off the ledge, like, you know what I mean? You get all that
through
like
her moon door.
Yeah, exactly. So
up there in
we get her pressing. Lady Durand is like, no.
You know what else this reminded me of? So yeah, because Lady Durand hits the button.
Yep.
And if you've also ever seen Zootopia, the mole guy says Asen. And like that's what they do. He pushes a button and everybody just falls into a pit of ice.
So yeah, she murks this guy. She takes him out and
falls to the pit of unknown.
Button. So she takes him out and enter Hunter and Wrecker
with a pike,
who clearly come with a Pike Syndicate member who is cool. That's cool to see. Like, clearly this group of people's been running around for a while in the Star Wars universe. We just hadn't seen them before, and they show up in Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett. So it's cool. They bring him in, which to stand trial again against this syndicate who's clearly not gonna take well to his. Anyway, they're there primarily to get information from
the Bad Batch,
from Lady Durand. Yeah, Hunter and Wrecker are there just to get information. So they had to do like a mercenary mission. So they went and got a Pike Syndicate member, brought him to Lady Durand, and Lady Durand's like, I'll give you the information, here it is, and now you better get out of here.
Yeah. And it's like, she's like, why did you cross the Pikes? Like she's also asking about crossing the Pikes. It's clearly her son who has it, like, you notice, has the broken horn.
Yep.
And they hand the horn back. Because this Pike guy like clearly cut it off or shot it off or
he
whatever,
was the one,
and like, you know, disgraced their family and everything. And basically Hunter, they're like, Hemlock stole somebody from us, and you know, we want him back, and we heard you had the connections.
Yep,
that's what we're doing here. You know, we've done our part, now you do yours. And then that's where she's like, get the
she's like, here's the coordinates, not gonna get. Well, so this is an interesting part, because while traveling to the coordinates, to this jungle planet they'll end up at, Wrecker tells Hunter and Echo that Echo and Rex just they're not gonna be able to show up for like two rotations. So it's like Hunter's not dealing with that. He's not taking it, and in this moment, Wrecker's has the moment of clarity. Wrecker's the one being like, no, we shouldn't probably be just running into stuff like that. Remember the last time we just ran into the Empire with no backup? Not all of us came back.
Not all of us came back.
So it's interesting seeing that Hunter being the more
kind of reckless,
reckless,
abandon.
But also, you see that it's because he knows the time's ticking on Omega too.
Oh, absolutely.
He knows something's important with her too, but maybe not as much as Nala knows. But he knows.
Yeah.
He could see it, and then So
we get the shot of the bunny though.
Yeah.
We get the shot of the bunny
and the hint at like Tech, and it's just been Hunter can't stand not having another crew member that is out there on a ship.
Yeah.
With him. And yeah, he's not going to let Omega be in prison any longer. So he's like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
And Hunter's, of course, down because he's always down.
Yeah.
But like,
Wrecker's down for Hunter's plan and stuff.
That's why it was really cool seeing him finally take the reins in a little bit.
And like have the conversation.
Yeah.
Like have the conversation.
Yeah, he's not just some dolt that just runs into things. Like he will, but like he's also,
but believe me,
he also learns. Yeah,
Wrecker will go in headstrong,
and
no problem. But the thing about Wrecker is, as big as he is, his heart's just as big, and like he cares. And you know, like
his relationship with Omega was like the most playful, the most fun, the most brother sister like.
Right, but exactly, and to also say that like, because he's being like, whoa, here, Hunter, doesn't mean that Wrecker cares any less. Right. It's like he's doing it because he cares, and he's like, I actually want us all to be back together. So let's take a minute and make sure we have the right plan in place.
And Hunter's just like, no, we gotta go do this.
So they land.
We gotta at least get to this planet.
Yeah, they land on the planet.
Which is Cetron, it's called, and it's like this very like jungle planet. Like again, it seems like a place you don't really want to be at for too long.
No, definitely not.
Especially if you don't know what's there and their scanners aren't working, so
they're like, the Empire's totally jamming us here.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like there's this base and this like lab and everything.
They find this abandoned lab that was like destroyed already.
Yeah.
And
it's got a bunch of overgrowth through it, like a bunch of
it's been a while.
Plant life and stuff on it.
So it's been a while. So it's like, oh shoot, clearly he's not here. But we need to find some clues or something. And while they're like looking around this place, they get ambushed by two kid clone troopers, which is like pretty cool to see because they were in season 1, I believe, and it's cool that they followed up and they quickly the 99ers take the Bad Batch take off their helmet and they're like, we're clones too, and they're like, they immediately like go to like, ew, like kind of like, you know what I mean? Like,
they go to name calling and stuff. They're like, oh, they're defective. They're 99ers and stuff.
Oh, and their names are Deke and Stack.
Yeah.
They eventually cool off and they eventually tell the guys they were just like abandoned by the Empire. They like left behind. They didn't care.
Yeah, they Hemlock and like
they thought they were going to be soldiers, and all of a sudden they're just like left behind, and the place was bombed. They just happened to get away. Yeah,
they just happened to get away at the right time for it, and on their way back to their like to the kid clone troopers like home base, they're attacked by
they
like
learn
the
of, like
evil
Mox. Yeah, they learn of this like older clone trooper, a little bit older than them, Mox, and they're gonna go there. And they're just kind of soon.
They're attacked by
Hunter and
vines.
Wrecker are attacked by these slither vines.
Yeah.
That the kids told them about. They told them to ignore, and they immediately start shooting at them. And they're like, "Don't shoot at him!" And it just makes them angry. So they finally
makes them more hostile.
They finally have to like cut Wrecker. Hunter has to cut Wrecker loose, and they get loose, and they finally run away to like this little
like cave, basically.
Yeah. And the clones kind of guide them to safety after that, and then they were just tell them about how they were bombed after they were evacuated and all that stuff.
Yeah, they tell the whole story about how they were bombed and everything, and like it really sucks. They also ask obviously about like Omega. They didn't hear, they never knew, like these kid clone troopers never knew anything about Omega or like another girl or like a girl or anything. Like they're at their base and you know like so like Hunter's like, all right, well we still have to try and go to the base and like get whatever intel we can. And I think it's Deck, right? Or Deke,
Deke
who's like you know well when we went there was still an intact control panel the last time we did around a walkthrough of it. So like we're gonna go in there, like we can go in there and do it. And Mox was like, no, that's a suicide mission. He's like their leader and everything of like the kids. You know, it's very like Lord of the Flies kind of stuff.
They're definitely having to live, but they're like child soldiers. So like they have a bit of an upper hand, but they're definitely having to live on their own and create their own little culture here.
Absolutely. So Mox was like, no, that's a suicide mission. We have no way to get power to it or anything like that. Like, that's the whole reason why we couldn't do anything last time.
Mm-hmm.
And Wrecker's like, don't worry about that, guys. We got a power source for it. we can get it, no problem.
Exactly.
And it's like extremely funny, like that Wrecker, like how Wrecker's like, don't worry about it, it's fine.
Right.
We get the cut back to the Imperial base though here. And like, so now they're in there, they're walking through, and they're like, what other experiments like happened here?
Yeah, because we saw we've seen different experiments throughout these seasons. What was the one monster called? The
one that sucked all the power and stuff.
Yeah,
that looked like the dinosaur.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of it.
But that's one that the Empire's like kind of taken on and abandoned. They kind of have this slither vine that they've taken on and abandoned. Like, they seem to be really bad at what they're trying to do, which is control nature and control, I don't know, the force and everything around it and everything in it.
Jeff Goldblum taught me anything. Life finds a way.
Yeah. So everything just kind of gets out of their control eventually, whatever they're trying to do. And we even see it in the sequel movies that, like, Emperor looks disgusting. Like, they clearly don't do good at experiments because they're trying to do what shouldn't be done.
Yeah, they're trying to do the like abnormal and stuff.
Right.
But then as they're walking through before they go to the base, they stop off and they pick up Gonki, their droid their droid for the power and everything.
Yeah,
and
Wrecker just grabs him, puts him on his back, and is like, ready, let's go.
He's like, let's go. But then as they're walking through, they get attacked by the slither vines and stuff.
Yep.
And then there's this like other like little like creature as well that I don't know if it's like a slither vine or like a little minion of a slither vine or something, but it was like spider-esque almost that was like in there. Man, it was a cool showing for some creatures and stuff. But they beat the vines back and they're able to like move on their way, get to the control panel, and start powering it up.
Kids, we go back to the kids though, like Mox and the other guy. Was it Deke?
I think it's Mox and Deke that are back, and then Stack that's there, or Steek, whatever.
Deke is trying to be like,
let's go.
Let's get out of here. And Mox is like, wait, what? Did you just see who they were? They seem like really good people. Why would we do that? They seem like they'll actually be like.
They seem pretty loyal. Like they're looking for.
We've been looking for loyalty. We've been looking for loyal soldiers that actually do what we dreamed we were going to do.
Yeah.
And why would we ditch them? And he's like, because we have the opportunity to get out of here.
Yeah.
The ship's probably going to be overtaken by vines soon, so we might as well just take the ship. And he's like, all right, where's the ship? Which is like, and cut it. You know what I mean? It's a pretty interesting scene, like, because you know that he has some other plan.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah, it's great. So we get a cut to the Imperial base again. They're in this like big, dark, cavernous like kind of place in it, because like there's this like black liquid like gurgling. So like I only can call it a cavern because it looks like. Really looks like a tar pit, if I'm being honest.
Exactly.
So like.
No, that's exactly what it looks like. Yeah.
And they're saying it smells bad and everything.
Which I forget what the reference is, but apparently it's a reference to something from that shows up in the video games again, like Jedi Survivor stuff.
Nice.
Which is cool.
I've never played them, so I don't.
Yeah, right.
I don't understand that, unfortunately. But they get to the console and everything is like good. They're able to hook up everything, start pulling the data. Hunter and Wrecker got their blasters turned to facing their like entryway, covering their sixes and stuff. And of course, we get the gargantuan vine attack from like that like shoots up.
They
from
really
black
did
liquid
this
and stuff.
like and it like has the big old mouth.
Yeah.
That looks like someone pointed out that it looks like the original Sarlacc pit. before the beak, which is like that's really cool.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like a vine sarlacc pit, or a vine sarlacc, basically, and it's just so cool.
Yeah,
like.
So they're fighting, and they did a really good job at like making like a planet hostile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this whole planet is hostile towards basically humans now. Any human from off-world, especially, because the clones seem to have like learned a way to work with them for now, at least.
Yeah, to kind of like,
or at least skirt around them.
Yeah, you don't bother me, I won't bother you, kind of thing.
Yeah, the regs. I mean, the regs. Yeah, which is a cool thing because like the clone troopers were always like looked down on by the regs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, of course they like thought they were like, as a crew, they were cool, but like they weren't trying to hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
They weren't trying to chill.
No, definitely not. We get a cut back to the Bad Batch ship, and Mox. They're breaking in. They get into the ship. Mox is like, "Yeah, I can fly it. Don't worry about it. Just let me fly it." And then, but Mox also sees the bunny. And that, I think, that's the tip to Mox.
It makes it real, yeah.
That's the tip to Mox of being like, these dudes do not carry a plush little bunny around here. So them talking about the girl that they were looking for is real. Yep. And it's validation for what Mox was saying. It's like, we've been looking for, like, good, decent people. And then Mox being like, no, I can fly it. Don't worry about it. I got it. And then we get a cut back to the Vine monster attack.
Where we do see the Sarlacc pit basically at this point. Yeah, and it's like right in the nick of time type of stuff because like they're about to get eaten basically, and it looks like vines are dropping actually. I thought, but it was the two rescue ropes. Yep. And Hunter and Wrecker are saved in this moment by the kids and the other clones. Yeah. And they take them back up to their ship, and it's really like nick of time moment, and it was fun to see.
Yep. And it was great because then after it, they drop a bunch of explosions into like the Sarlacc pit looking monster, blows it all up, and then they're able to get off. Hunter's like, "Hey, we got a place for you."
Yeah, while they're like flying away in like hyperspace,
and they're like, "What do we do? Like we're cadets without an army. Like we've got no place to go or anything. Like, what are we gonna do?" And Hunter's like, "Don't worry, we got you.
You'll find a way."
There's a
he's like, "You'll find a way."
First, that's right. He's like, "You guys will find a way. You'll be able to get through this and everything, and it'll be fine."
He's like, "First of all, it's going to be on you. Actually, it's not going to be on being in an army. And it's going to be I got a place for you." And
then he's like, "Yeah, I've got a place for you." Yeah. And they're like, "All right, well, are you gonna like be there with us?" And Hunter's like, "Unfortunately, well, he doesn't say unfortunately. He's like, our mission's not over.
No, we can't. So, we can't. But for you, it's probably better that we're not there.
And but then while you're there, you can make your own path as well. Yeah. And so that was great. And then they run the credits here, and that's the end of episode 2 of season 3 of
really
Bad
cool.
Batch. It's great.
Really cool because it is as much as it does clearly connect. I mean, it's in the next episode, but it's like it's the two different paths meeting up. Yeah, that's why it's a great
It's so awesome.
Episode name even like it was just everything about this was fun, and we'll get right back to it with episode 3 because it's connected. Yeah, it's the same arc at least, and we're gonna talk about that real soon.
So yeah. Let's go ahead and dive into episode 3 of Bad Batch, season 3. Hey everybody, Jimmy with the Triple C Collective, and
Collin here.
And we are ready to bring you episode 3 of season 3 of the Bad Batch.
The final season.
The final season, yep. Shadow of Tatnus.
Yep, yeah, Shadows of Tatnus was good because, I really want to get into the point that this is one of those episodes that's larger to the bigger lore again. Yeah. And it connects directly to the end of the first episode, but as far as the bigger lore goes, like there's stuff dropped in this episode that connects to some Project Necromancer, they call it, and it connects to decades later on The Mandalorian, and then after that, even the sequel trilogy, which is where it kind of comes to fruition. So we'll get into it though. We start the episode off in Omega's room.
Again,
we're back in like that routine.
Yep, trying to get that like mundane routine, same thing, day after day after
also
day.
that clock will come back. The ticking clock with the blood samples in it comes back. But yeah, we're back in that routine, and there's a cool like trooper that keeps popping up in this episode. I looked on the captions of CX1.
Okay.
He was really cool. He was in the background with Emery in this scene when she gets Omega, and Omega basically goes to get samples taken from her again, whatever, with Nalise and Emery. But as soon as Emery leaves the lab. How about Nalise is not playing games anymore?
Well, because Hemlock shows up.
Yeah.
And like Hemlock's shows up with Nalise, and like Nalise also sees that like Emery's gonna do the test, and that will come up later on here. But Nalise, Emery gets pushed away, but Nalise is going to the computer near Omega and does Omega, you must escape today. And
she's like, get out of here, because basically it's about to go down. I can't control it anymore. I was for a long time, but clearly it's out of my control now, and things are about to go down. I can't save myself. But you need to go ahead and grab this data pad I have, and it's going to show you a location of a ship that you can get to. So that basically starts the episode off with Omega finally being like, all right, we got this.
Yeah, all right, we got to go. But they keep talking, though, this entire time about an unexpected guest.
Yeah.
And we find out who that unexpected guest is.
Yep.
Because the next thing we see after Nalise and Omega split.
Yeah, they didn't hide it for so long.
Yeah. It was like they really didn't bury the lead much more than this. It's the Emperor.
Omega doesn't know, and
and Crosshairs and stuff doesn't know
they don't
or
know
anything.
But
I doubt even Emery really knows.
Right.
And probably not up until this point and after.
Right.
But either way, it's the Emperor. And the Hemlock is there to greet him with Nalise. They're very eager about the project and the updates on Project Necromancer and everything. This was just great, man. I just love seeing Palpatine pop up.
It's crazy. It was really cool because it's again, this is something that did not get explained in the sequels. Which a lot of people got mad at, including most, but whatever. It's a kids movie at the end of the day.
Yeah. So,
but it's nice to finally get something that gives it some legitimacy, and we're gonna see who's this creature that this thing in the vat and blah blah blah. We're gonna get into it, and it's pretty cool. Because again, they bring this thing up after the Emperor's dead in The Mandalorian, right? What about Project Necromancer? Are we giving up on that? And then we saw what's his name? Already do it in Mandalorian. Already have his clones in the vats. Moff Gideon. Yeah, exactly.
Spoilers for Mandalorian if you haven't been caught up on that.
Yeah. We see Moff Gideon doing this exact thing with Grogu. So. Yeah, interestingly enough, it's definitely a secret from even the rest of the Empire.
Right.
This is a super secret mission, compared to in the High Republic books where Montanus is Thrawn's thing, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to make a new clone army that's better than.
Yeah.
This is more of a secret base on Mount Tantus on this planet Wayland, which is again a cool little nod.
Yeah.
To the Alien franchise.
Yeah.
But it's
Wayland Yunani.
Yeah. It's interesting to see Omega just go for it right away. She's because she leaves the lab. We get that cut of the unexpected guest being Palpatine, and then Omega's straight to Crosshair and it's Crosshair, let's go. Crosshair again, dragon speed. But he's
dog.
A guy. Yeah.
Dog, let's get out of here. And then he's like, well, what's the plan? What's the next steps? What are you planning on doing? Distract the guards. Crosshair's size throughout like the rest of this like episode and stuff, man, is just so great. Like he's just like,
if Hunter's the dad, he's definitely the grandpa or something.
Yeah,
like
he's the cranky uncle. He's
totally
the
grumpy old grandpa.
Yeah. I mean, fair, totally. But it's great. Crosshair works. He tries distracting the guards by like pulling rank, telling him to give him his like blasters and stuff. While Omega goes ahead and takes Nalase's data pad that she got and just unlocks his cell, and Crosshair does one of the things that he does best. Disarm somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
And
which again, she the whole time is kind of being like, don't kill. You know what I mean? Think she has to keep this back and forth with Crosshair will continue for sure. But yeah, they get that, and then their plan is to get to where the Lurka Hounds were.
Yeah.
They want to escape through there.
Through there to get to the crash ship that was beyond the perimeter.
So they finally get to where Batcher was.
Yeah.
And Emery catches them.
Yep.
Yeah. So Emery's basically like, don't do it. Like she's more talking to Omega. I don't think she cares about Crosshair.
Right.
She does care a little bit about Omega. So I do sense again some good in her. But she does go reach for her gun, but before she can do anything, Crosshair stuns her.
As she hits the little beeper
thing,
and then we get the cut to Hemlock and the Emperor, who's
leaving at this moment.
Yeah, well, the
but
Emperor
is congratulating him and saying, this is great.
Everything is well guarded, and additional resources. More time with additional resources, we can get higher M counts, and
you can see Hemlock just like money in his eyes.
Yeah, and Palpatine was like, whatever you need to complete this goal, like you'll have it.
Yeah,
and everything.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like he just had money in his eyes.
Right.
He was like so happy. He just seems like he's guided by like just wanting that power through money and that. Like, he's not a politician, you know what I mean?
And then Palpatine even tells him, he's like, there's even some within our own ranks that won't like agree with this, or like won't see eye to eye on this. We'll see it as like an abomination. So we need to keep everything about this base, what we're doing here, on the tightest of tight lockdowns here.
And then, so like as Palpatine, their conversation, Hemlock and him, their conversation.
Palpatine gets on
walks
his
away,
ship,
and then Emery comes up and is like, problems.
Yeah.
Crosshair and Omega escape, and he just flips. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's just ready to go, like sending the troopers out, but also sending the Lurka Hounds.
Right. So like Omega and Crosshairs now are out through Batcher's
tunnel.
Through Batcher's tunnel. They're out there. They barely get it because we get that like red door scene basically from
they barely
Phantom
make it through. Yeah.
Of like getting through those shields and stuff. That's a really great awesome that's a great mix of that scene from Phantom Menace, obviously leading to the death of Qui-Gon, but also it gave me very much so John McClane in the vents in Die Hard, just because it's like that close space, it's that action, and
this episode was go. Because that's what it was. Omega had to make a decision right away and just keep making decisions throughout this episode. And there's really no stopping to think.
They decide to follow the flight pattern though, because once they get there, Crosshair's like, all right, where do we go? And Omega's like, to the crash ship, and he's like, that's not good enough.
Right. So her plan is to get to the crash ship, use the comms, whatever, to
signal,
reach Hunter and Wrecker.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Lurka Hounds start being an issue here.
Yeah.
So they're coming, but as soon as they're they start fighting their way out, and as soon as they're about to be surrounded, this bigger giant beast comes out, and kind of in what is that, Jurassic Park?
No, it's the first Jurassic
Park.
Where the T-Rex comes in as the Velociraptors are surrounding Dr. Grant, and Dr. Sadler, and the kids and stuff. And
yeah, it was one of those moments. So like the animals took care of each other for a moment. They're able to kind of slither away and get to the ship finally. They get to the ship and they get it powered up, but they're getting surrounded by these troopers that he also sent out.
Yeah.
And in the background of all this, Emery's finishing those tests.
Yeah, Emery's finishing those tests, and Nala Say's getting accused by Hemlock being like, you helped her escape.
Right.
You know, it was your data pad and stuff. And Nala Say, I love it though. She's like, but I've been by your side all day.
Yeah, exactly. Very
much like she knows what's up.
But
like,
also she knows it's the end of her.
Yeah.
She's just playing.
Absolutely. She has spared herself another couple of days.
Yep.
Maybe by truly being by his side, because he's right. Because he's like, you're right. I know you helped her, but like I can't prove it because all footage of you would be like with you and me in the lab, and like that would be the only time where you could have done anything. Maybe.
Yeah, and then so he finds out that basically Omega is a match after Emery tests it.
Yeah.
And he brings up to Nala Say after that also that like what have you been doing to these tests, you know? And she like false positives exist and all this stuff, and he's like, we'll see when we get it.
And that's basically like that'll find out,
but
like,
that'll happen in a little bit. But it's like she's because as soon as they get the blood test back, they really do. Hunter Crosshair is able to like kind of let loose on the troopers that are after Omega and them, and they both kind of put in their work on these troopers, and then they end up powering up the.
Well, yeah, they do Plan 72.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Crosshair's like, hey, did Tech ever teach you Plan 72? And Omega's like, he had me memorize. Of course, I know Plan 72.
Exactly.
He had me memorize all of the plans
throughout this whole season. I feel like her training's been coming across.
Yeah,
very much so throughout this whole season, especially in this and the next episode. Her training is very evident, and it's again why like this kid character is good, because they took their time. They didn't make her super powerful off the beginning. We knew she was different. We knew she was powerful, but like she's grown to become who she is now, and it's super cool seeing in this final season.
But yeah, then Omega and Crosshair take out the troopers that are there, and Batcher comes in, gives her a nice little like save, and then they steal the stormtroopers that came in on that new ship to like circle them and stuff, and they take off on it. Basically.
So they take off, and they're getting shot at. But this is when Emery finished that blood test, or at least tells Hemlock that
stop firing at them, like let them go, like don't shoot them down, like call back all of those enemy, or call back all of our fighters, like there's an M count like transfer that's good here in a clone, and it's Omega, and it's the only one we got.
Yeah, because at first he thought it was he's like, we tested Crosshair, he didn't even think Omega.
Yeah.
So then, so he's like, stop that, stop fighting, stop shooting, because you're gonna kill her, and we need her.
Yeah.
That's more important than anything, and he's like, we got all the resources, the Empire.
Yeah.
All that. We're gonna be able to get them. Don't worry right now. There's a little loss. We don't have to worry about it.
It's minor. It's nothing at all. And yeah, dude, it's great. That's the end of like episode 3. I loved it, man. It was so good. I love these batches that they give us here of like to kind of set the table and like get us reacquainted with everybody, because these first 3 episodes really did that. It really did a good job of like reminding you where everybody was, who's still there and who's not, who are players that like can be recalled back and stuff as well. Like I like the Echo and Rex name drop, despite us not seeing them in these first 3 episodes.
They've been doing a lot of little connections to the first season, but I also liked how they introduced us to the first 3 episodes, because really it would have been disappointing to just get those first 2 episodes because they were so disconnected. Yeah. Whereas like it was 1, 2, and then but 1 and 3 were really the connected ones. Yeah. And you were kind of just like, all right, let's go see what Hunter and Wrecker are doing in the meantime. So when all the other stuff comes together, it'll make sense. But it was awesome that they did that, and we're getting 15 episodes, and that's great.
I'm super
stoked about that because it's going to be great.
But yeah, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to wrap up episode 1, 2, and 3 here of Bad Batch Season 3. I am Jimmy with the Triple C Collective.
Collin here.
And we hope you all stay safe. Please like and subscribe to our video and to our channel. And as always, may the Force be with you.